Cavaliers are trash, Cowherd.
No, that's
trash. Trash. Does this diminish LeBron's legacy in any way?
First of all, do you remember Pippen's Houston years or Favre with the Jets or MJ with the Wizards? We don't remember Tragic Johnson, which he was for a year. We celebrate that we remember Favre with the Vikings for an hour and the Packers for years. We're not going to remember this. It's January.
I'm going to remember.
It's the lost year.
I'm going to remember it.
What are you going to remember?
You know what I'm going to remember?
What?
I was watching Undisputed this morning. Skip Bayless said something. My head exploded. Head exploded. Since Christmas, LeBron James has the worst plus-minus
in the league.
Everybody in the league. And you don't think I'm going to remember that? Did Michael Jordan ever? Did Magic Johnson ever? Larry Bird ever? The worst plus-minus in the league. That's intentional. And that will come out as more people report on. That's intentional. That's not by accident. That's not some fluke in the stats. That's a man that wants this team to be trash. He's sabotaging his own team. And hell yeah, it diminishes his legacy.
First of all, Isaiah Thomas actually was dead on accurate with his assessment of the team. They were playing really, really well. And I flipped the channel. And then I turned back and I said, what was going on? And then they started playing iso ball and very selfishly. The crazy thing about it is he's the only one speaking the truth in the room because he doesn't have the sweat equity with everybody else.
Why are you dodging?
Huh?
We got a question on the table. Answer.
Well, look.
Diminishes legacy.
I do think in the short term it does, but in the long term it does not. Because here's what happens. When he left Cleveland last time, they were terrible. When he left Miami, they were terrible. When he leaves this team, they'll be terrible, and yet he'll have been to all these NBA finals. What's the argument against Michael Jordan as opposed to LeBron James? It's that when he left and he goes and plays baseball, they go to the Eastern Conference Finals anyway, right? So I think long-term, people have a short-term memory, Jason.
They do.
You're right, but they will forget about it.
I'm sorry.
I'll go. Let me take it. Whitlock, very prisoner of the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Since Christmas, we're talking about a 7-week stretch, and you're talking about his legacy.
Hold on,
7 weeks.
Jason. He said the worst in the league. That is a strong
get that. That's
stat.
bad. You're understand. See, this is the problem, right?
Boba, worse than Boba.
Whitlock, they're all wrapped up in social media and being a prisoner of the moment right now. Last night, you go on social media. Oh my gosh. Orlando crushed the Cavs. Do you guys remember any Michael Jordan losses when he came back from baseball?
First of all,
do you remember any at all?
Jason, deal with what I said. I didn't talk about their loss last night. I talked about a man that's going to have on his jacket the worst plus-minus since Christmas of anybody in the league, and you're comparing it to Michael Jordan. No one remembers.
Hold on, wait, Colin. Let me respond.
Kobe
that is going on the back of his jacket. You know what's on the front? Down 3-1 against the greatest regular season team in NBA history, and he brings them back and has a triple-double in Game 7 and they win
your
the
bigger
finals.
point, which is, I didn't think about it, but it's interesting that he's sabotaging the year.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now. I would generally not buy into that conspiratorial nature. That's not my nature. Okay, I go home to a loving family. You go home to these crazy ideas.
Yeah.
You can be that way.
That are right.
Sometimes. But I will tell you this. I, from a source I trust, was told today that the Gilbert-LeBron relationship is awful. I mean, it's like pass in the hall and don't look at each other.
So you believe what he's saying?
I'm just saying what you're saying is LeBron's like, listen, bro, I'm going to make this painful for you. And I do believe...
The guy's got a basketball intellect, and so when he checks into a game, and I'm talking about last night's game, there was a game a couple weeks ago, they were up 16 points or something in the fourth quarter, he checks in, and they magically lose the game. That's...
It doesn't make sense. It goes against what you normally think. LeBron comes in and you have a lead, you should win. No, look, he's done this before. He did the last time he was on his way out, only it was one game, right?
Intentional.
I know the real Kobe Bryant, the one that took 26 shots in Game 7 and Ron Artest had to bail him out. But that's the same Kobe Bryant who quit on his team, right? We've seen Kobe quit on his team, LeBron quit on his team. But for whatever reason, when these guys retire, you talked about legacy, and this is all time. For whatever reason, they become Teflon because of the number of rings and the points that they've scored.
Here's what I'm talking about, though, Doug. Again, I'm not talking about like, oh, my God, we're going to lose all respect for LeBron. What I'm talking about is don't put his name in the same sentence with Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan would never have done this. And again, what he'll run into jeopardy of is someone like me will say, well, hold on, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson would never have done this too.
Correct.
So I'm gonna back LeBron up instead of being number 2 or 3 or 4. I'm gonna back him up to 6 or 7. That's all I'm saying.
Okay,
I'm not
so Kevin Love gets hurt. He's out. We can't blame him. We can't make him the punching bag. Yeah, let's go after LeBron. He's been bad for 7 weeks.
Isaiah
It's the
Thomas
end of
hasn't
the
been
world.
bad. He's been terrible.
The worst plus minus.
Hold
I
on, wait.
understand, Doug.
And
Yes,
listen,
last
the whole
January
argument,
was an awful month for him.
the
I get it.
whole argument for LeBron James is, hey, he scores, but he's not a scorer. His team always wins. His team always, nothing embodies.
Oldest roster in the league.
Nothing
Dan
embodies
Gilbert
that.
traded
But
Kyrie.
those are guys
Stop
that
blaming
he
LeBron.
picked. Okay?
It's unacceptable.
What is plus minus for? Plus minus, is your team better or worse when you're in the game?
Isaiah Thomas, that's his fault, right?
He has the worst in the league, worse than Isaiah Thomas.
All right, Whitlock, been a lot of drama in that locker room. Are you buying LeBron is actually devoted to his teammates?
No, because he is doing it. He's not giving them a fair effort. Tyronn Lue said it weeks ago about agendas, and he wasn't just talking about Isaiah Thomas. He was talking about LeBron James. And so, look, I want to be clear on this about LeBron James is like every other human being, flawed, and has moments, a week, a day, hours, months, where they do a lot of petty things, and it doesn't, he's got a 34-year life to examine, not just these 7 weeks. But in these 7 weeks, I think he's been selfish. I think he hasn't cared a damn about his teammates. I think he's exercising a personal agenda of revenge against Dan Gilbert, and that takes precedent over doing what's best for this team. That's what I've seen in this 7-week stretch. Now, again, he's had a much longer career, and we'll judge all of it. But in this 7-week stretch, and I think for the rest of this season, I haven't liked this LeBron James.
Well, I would say this, is that someday we're going to look at this whole thing, and the big mistake's going to be he went home again. And it made no sense. He left Pat Riley, Aqua Water. He left Mickey Harrison, and he
couldn't get along with it.
Yeah, Pat Riley wasn't going to let him have all his guys.
Well,
that's kind of what the Phil Jackson kind of outed him as. He has to have it his way, and he couldn't have it his way, and so he went to somewhere where he could.
Listen, all superstars put themselves number one. They all do.
Yeah, but they don't put their friends ahead of everybody else as well.
Tom Brady has. I don't think that's his record. I don't think that's.
Well, but the NFL tends to be more coach shield. The NBA is about. I mean,
I don't
Golden
think Isaiah
State. How about
Thomas
this?
did that.
How about this? Steve Kerr comes out Saturday. He says, my team is fried. Oh, 19 months together, best record in the league, they're fried. Is it possible 14 years of being the spotlight of the league, LeBron's fried? He is done emotionally. Steve Kerr says, my guys they've been together an hour and a half. It's the best team in the league, and they're fried? What if LeBron's fried? He's fried emotionally. He's angry. He's burnt out. He's tired. He's bored. Isn't that reasonable?
It's a possibility.
14 years.
You're getting humiliated by a team like the Orlando Magic, okay? This is not just the Houston Rockets coming in and beating you. You're getting humiliated. Like, the only thing worse than the land, right? The land uniforms, those uniforms are awful. No, they're not gray. That's not their colors, and it's not the land.
You're off on a tangent.
Okay. That's a fair point. Is the fact that they're getting embarrassed by bad teams, and no one wants to get embarrassed. I agree with Jason that there is some sort of personal agenda. He's trying to make a point here, and it's hurting his team. And look, LeBron's one of those guys that is selfish in an unselfish manner. He wants you to succeed, but he wants to help you succeed. He wants you to make the game-winning shot, but he wants to make the pass to the game-winning shot. He's one of the most unselfish, selfish players, maybe the most unselfish, selfish player we've ever seen, and he wants to be the guy who fixes this thing as well. He will crank it up. They will start playing better. I don't think they'll ever get to the level that LeBron's teams have in the past, but I look at this thing, and I do think LeBron is a bad teammate because he's trying to control and manipulate the situation, and it's working.
Oh, my goodness. This is beat up on LeBron Day, isn't it? I mean, geez, let's kill LeBron James. Guys, I said this a couple weeks ago.
Go ahead.
He's worrying about things he can control, Whitlock. He can't control the roster. He didn't trade Kyrie Irving. He didn't bring in these old guys who can't defend. He didn't push Tristan Thompson into the Kardashian curse. He didn't get involved with any of this stuff. He's saying all the right things publicly. I'm not going to let my teammates down. I'm here for another 3 months. That's it.
Wait, go back through the list of guys, okay? Kyrie Irving left because he had had enough.
No, Dan Gilbert traded him.
No, because he'd had enough. And LeBron was the one who wanted them to go out and get Chris Paul. Kyrie Irving got wind of it after they won a championship.
I mean,
he's like, I've had enough.
buy into
Wait,
those
hold on.
conspiracy theories.
Dwayne Wade, right? Tristan Thompson, who's his rep? Rich Paul. Why was that deal done?
He
Why
got
was
him a
the J.R.
championship.
Smith
He
deal
got him
done?
a championship,
Okay,
Doug.
so this
and Colin, to say like LeBron came back and it didn't work, he won a title. He brought the city of Cleveland joy that the city hasn't felt in decades.
And now they're going to feel more pain for decades.
They're not. They're realistic, Doug.
Jason, this is
I'd rather have the Nets pick if I'm a Cavs fan. They're all saying that.
Who's their coach?
Tyronn Lue.
Who was he handpicked by?
LeBron.
And he won't let him coach him.
Did they not win a title?
We got to go, but y'all did help me come up with a new nickname for LeBron.
What?
T.O. with titles.